Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I want to welcome you to a new installation of the Zoom In on the Halal Metropolis project. I'm Sally Howell. I'm the director of the Center for Arab American Studies at the University of Michigan Dearborn, and I'm here this morning with Fatima Al-Rasool. Hi, Fatima. How are you?
Hey, Sally. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you. This project is intended to think about, to record, to understand how the Muslim community in the metro area is being affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. We did some interviews back in the spring of last year, and now we're checking back in with people to see how they're doing. So first of all, Fatima, tell me how your family is doing and how you've been doing.
First, I want to say it's weird to be on like the other side of this. I've been the interviewer before, but never the interviewee.
Well, yeah, I didn't introduce Fatima and who she is. So Fatima is a recent graduate of the University of Michigan Dearborn, and she has been an absolutely vital part of our project, both the work we do at the Center for Arab American Studies and also the project we're working on, this project, Halal Metropolis. So she's been one of our, I don't think she's always been behind the scenes, but kind of one of our behind the scenes person, keeping us on track in terms of a lot of the technology we use and a lot of the social media we do. So these are all the things I want to talk to her about, her graduating in the pandemic and working for our team, what that's been like for her. And Fatima, we're very happy to say, so right after she graduated, she had interviewed for a job at the Arab American Museum. And because of COVID, they, really were shut down right away. And unfortunately, they had to lay off a large number of people. And so it didn't look like Fatima was going to get a job. But just recently, in January, she started her new position at the museum. So she's one of the fortunate people. So these are all the things I want to talk to Fatima about. So how are you, Fatima?
I'm good. It's been hectic at the house. Everyone has like online school. I have 3 younger sisters, so they're all Zooming in every day to school and class, and kind of have to maneuver around all of that. But it's been good. Alhamdulillah. Like things could be a lot worse, but we're all safe. We're all at home, warm, healthy, and I couldn't ask for more in times like these. So yeah.
Exactly. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I know that your family's been especially careful because you have a special needs sister. So you guys have been more careful, I think, than a lot of people.
That's not saying a lot.
Well, I'm glad that you've been safe. So first
Yeah.
off, maybe tell me what it was like, how frustrating it was for you and for your peers graduating this past year, and how are you doing? How is everybody else doing?
Yeah, I think initially, like, no one really had any idea what was going on. It was so sudden. I remember, like, I still remember it was March 17th, the first day that everybody couldn't go back to the school, and it was so weird. Like, I couldn't see any of my professors anymore. I couldn't see any of my peers and my friends anymore. And, like, as a senior, that would have been my last time to see many of those people. But now that everyone had to be like barricaded at home, like there was no chance for that anymore. No chance for goodbyes, no chance for like catching up anymore. So that was like super disappointing. And then it just kept going on and on until it was April. And then graduation was around the corner and graduation got canceled. And I know that was very disappointing for me and many of my friends, because most of us are first gen students. We're probably like the first people in our family like to go to college and graduate. Like that was the case for me. So I know my parents were like very sad and disappointed that they weren't able to see me walk across the stage and get my diploma. So yeah, they still like threw me a little backyard party in our house. That was nice. But it's not the same, So yeah, initially it was disappointing, but I think like now people are like starting to pick up the pieces. A lot of my peers have gone on to get into their master's programs or post-grad plans. Me, I've got a job now, so that's great. My first adult job.
So tell us about your job. Tell us about your job.
Yeah, so I'm the public programming representative at the Arab American National Museum. I just started. It's been like 6 weeks, started January 4. It's been great. I've been working on the programming, working on the different digital content that goes onto Instagram, the Yalla Eat Chef series, where we feature different Arab American chefs across the country. It's been cool to just be able to interact with food, because that was something also so integral to Halal Metropolis. So I kind of have that background already. We so yeah, we've been just setting up programs, things like that.
And how much programming are they doing these days?
Honestly, our calendar, not a candle, is pretty hectic. We have a lot coming up, especially with Arab American Heritage Month in April coming up around the corner. We have an artist in resident right now, Andrea Asaf, and she's been doing really cool things. She had a reflection session last Tuesday. She has a writing workshop on the 18th, this upcoming Thursday. So yeah, we've been keeping busy.
That's great. That's great. Well, so I know that when I first met Fatima, when she transferred from Ann Arbor to Dearborn, and it was in the summertime, and we had just done a project, a public history project called Unsettled Lives, which was about Iraqi refugees who have come to Detroit or Dearborn. And we really, I mean, we talked about the community as a whole, but our sort of emphasis was on the people who had come through Refha. You know, who had been in the area a little longer, like more than a decade. And one of the things that we did was we asked the people that we interviewed, one of the questions we asked them was, you know, like if they could give advice. We did this several years ago, so we were still, the Syrian refugees were still coming. It was before Trump shut the door, but you know, we were still concerned about the Syrian refugees arriving. And so, you know, like what sort of advice do they have to give the newcomers? And Fatima just jumped right into that project. She worked with us on it in the summer and really helped bring our exhibit that we created to fruition. And then she took the next iteration of the public history class. And I know that you worked a lot. You worked closely with Rose Wellman too in anthropology. So tell me about what it was like to get the minor in Arab American Studies, and you know, what value do you think it will have to you?
Yeah, so like Sally said, I transferred to UM-Dearborn in 2018, and I really didn't know what I was doing at all. I had just been studying architecture for so long, but now I was kind of going into anthropology because I was really just intrigued by culture and all the weird things humans do. And I found myself working with Sally on the Unsettled Lives project, and it was so great to just be in touch with my community, because that's also my family story. They were refugees and they came to America in the early 2000s, and I had never like done something so personal. So that has been like the utmost like primary motivator, I feel like, behind me studying Arab American studies. Um, it's just so personal to me in my life. I feel like I'm learning what my community is all about. I'm learning our history, our long history here. And there's so many Arab American, like, what is our population numbers? Like 3.5 million in the United States. And that's a big chunk of the population. And it's just so important to know the culture and the history and just all the traditions that go into being that community, especially in Dearborn. We're like the epicenter, we're the most concentrated population. So yeah, I think just learning all of that has been integral to like learning to who I am and who my family is, who my community is. And also, of course, it's brought me so many skills that I'm bringing into the Arab American National Museum. I have that background that I need. Like, I've been reading over all the exhibit material. As an employee, you have to like know what the exhibits hold, and it's just so familiar to me. I feel like I already know everything. So that's been great.
Yeah, you're lucky because you have both the content, which is sort of what they have in the museum or what you're doing with the food project, but then you also have the technical side of it. So yeah, we were really happy to see them hire you. Yeah, and it's so Fatima is not it left us entirely. We're too dependent on her, but still, we're really happy to see one of our alums, you know, land in like the perfect position like this. And really, one of our goals with this public history class has been to like train the next generation of people to work in institutions like the Arab American Museum. I think when they first opened, and even still, they have, you know, they want to hire the most talented people, of course, for all of their jobs, but they also really want to hire Arab Americans, and not a lot of Arab Americans necessarily, are interested in the like careers in the humanities or the arts or things like this. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of been a challenge for them, and it's provided a real opportunity for us. So we're really happy to see this. Well, so we're, Fatima was working with us on the Halal Metropolis project, and our exhibit was shut down back in March. And we're talking now about reopening in May. I'm just wondering, like, what the prognosis is for the museum, and when you think it might be able to really reopen to the public.
I think right now we're still focusing on digital content. I think what's been so great about digital content for everybody, not just the Arab American National Museum, is we're reaching such a broad audience. And the Arab American National Museum, it's placed in Dearborn, so of course it's very community based, but also it's a national museum. It's for the entire community. So it's been great to be able to reach more people, not just within America, but also just across the world. So I think that it's always going to be a focus for the museum and other institutions going forward, just improving their digital offerings. I think we're still closed down for now, just to keep everybody safe and keep the community safe.
All right. Well, that makes sense. We're closed down. I completely get it. Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Fatima. And I wish you the best of luck, both your family and also at the museum and your work. And of course, we're gonna keep you close. We need to. But thank you for joining me today. And if anyone else out there has stories that you think we should be sharing in terms of what's happening in the Arab American community or the Muslim American community right now, please get in touch with us. We're very interested to talk to people about what's happening now in terms of COVID and our sort of coming back to life here eventually. All right, thank you, Fatima. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Walaikum salam.